So you're thinking about moving to Hollywood, Florida, or maybe Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and the surrounding areas. Well, in this video, I'm going to discuss the good and the bad of living in Hollywood, Florida. Let's get into it right now. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything about living in Hollywood, Florida, or maybe Fort Lauderdale and the surrounding areas, then make sure to subscribe down below and tap on the bell for notifications, as I provide content multiple times throughout the week on information about living here, eating here, sleeping here, having fun here. My name is Adela Philipson. We get calls, texts, and emails every day from people just like you looking for help to make their move to Hollywood, Florida, or Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and the surrounding areas, and we absolutely love it. Whether you're thinking of moving here in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. All the information is down below in the description. So let's go ahead and talk about the good and the bad in this video about Hollywood, Florida. So the first good thing or pro about Hollywood, Florida, it's going to have to be the schools. Florida in general does not have the greatest reputation with schools, regardless of whether it's elementary, middle, or even high school. And for families who are thinking about moving here, that is a huge priority, and sometimes have to consider the cost of putting their children in private school, depending on where they live, if they don't want to do the public route. Now, Hollywood, looking at the elementary schools, they do have a few options kind of close to downtown Hollywood that do have great ratings. According to greatschools.org, are either a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. And 2 out of the 3 in particular in the downtown Hollywood area are actually elementary school as well as middle school. So you don't have to worry about moving your child after 5th grade. So in terms of schools, that's a huge bonus for Hollywood, not just the elementary and middle school, but also the high school. They have 2 in particular, Sheridan, there are 2 particular I have in mind, but one of them, Sheridan Technical High School, that one has a 9 out of 10. The South Broward High School, I believe, is about a 7 or so. But regardless, when you combine all the schools in that general area of Hollywood, they are a great rating. There are other schools, of course, but if you live within the school district of Hollywood, you can end up having your children just go to public without having to pay for private. The second good thing or pro about Hollywood, Florida are the attractions. Now, Hollywood being the 3rd largest city or suburb in Broward County, they do have a lot of attractions. A couple very amazing ones that come to mind are, number 1, the BOARDWALK. It's debatable. Some say 2.2 miles, some say 2.3 or even 2.5 miles, but regardless, it's over 2 miles and it's less than 3 miles long, but it's a boardwalk. It's a promenade, so pedestrians can enjoy it, cyclists can enjoy it, and what's really neat is that you literally have the beach, the walkway, and restaurants. Compared to, for example, like Fort Lauderdale, you have the beach, a public road, and restaurants, which are at the bottom of hotels. So it's a different layout and landscape when you are on the actual Hollywood boardwalk. And the length is great. They have about 7 miles altogether, the city of Hollywood. So they do take a good amount of that beach portion and make it into an enjoyable experience, not just for the residents, but also for tourists. So it's a great destination. And they also have resorts, for example, the Margaritaville Resort, which is right there on the boardwalk. So if you are planning on coming here and vacationing, check out the resorts that are right there along the boardwalk in Hollywood. If you are looking at possibly purchasing like a condo, it's a great location, lots of entertainment. You don't have to worry about getting into a vehicle. But another attraction that comes to mind is the famous Seminole Hard Rock hotel and casino. Now, the casino in the area has been there since 2004, but they just recently spent $1.5 billion creating and redoing the casino, but more importantly, building the hotel, which is shaped like a guitar. And as far as residents kind of in the overall area, now that the hotel is there and it's a bit newer, there's a lot of comedians, live entertainment, bands coming and performing there. So it really brings in a lot of attraction, a lot of things to do for people, not just who live in Hollywood, but people kind of around Hollywood as well, which is fantastic. So another great attraction. And then just when you are in Hollywood, for example, like on Hollywood Boulevard, there are a lot of restaurants and shops. Then they have the Young Circle, which is about a 10-acre park inside that's called Arts Park. They have the amphitheater. They have a children's playground. They even have like water spouts shooting up. So of course we are in Florida and it's hot most of the year, so children can go and like splash around. There's a huge grass picnic areas for families and just people to enjoy. They will even do some filming there, like indie films, music festivals. They'll do exercise classes like yogas. Friday evenings they'll do movies at nighttime and on the grass. So there's a lot of activity and attractions all together for Hollywood itself. So they have a lot going on. I have to give it to them. If you want to check out some real footage of Hollywood, which I do have available for you, go ahead and check out this video I've linked right here where you can see live footage. I'm walking on the boardwalk. I'm in front of Margaritaville Resort. I'm at Arts Park and Young Circle, driving around Young Circle. So you can definitely watch that video, right here. I just want to point out, before I go into the third pro, I don't want to just generalize Hollywood and all the cities in Florida as having the same kind of pros and cons. I want to be more specific about the actual city itself. So in this case, the third pro is the job opportunities to have within the city itself if you are thinking of moving to Hollywood. For example, they have a lot of job opportunities in the healthcare industry. So if that is something you are in that industry, thinking about moving, Hollywood is a really great option. They also have other very well-established industries and businesses operating in the city of Hollywood. For example, AEROSPACE. There are multiple companies located within Hollywood, so if that's the industry you're in, another great opportunity. Another great one is tourism industry, because of course Hollywood is much of a tourist location, just like even Fort Lauderdale. So Hollywood does offer a lot of job opportunities in the tourism industry, as well as the engineering mechanics industry. There's several companies located within Hollywood itself. So if that is something you're into, they have very well established companies throughout Hollywood. I'm sure there's others, but it might be a little bit difficult since those are kind of the predominant industries located in Hollywood. Now, let's discuss some of the bad things or the cons of living in Hollywood, Florida. One of the biggest cons that I've experienced when I go to Hollywood, especially the boardwalk or the beach side, is the parking. The parking can be very frustrating. Let's say, for example, you are near the boardwalk and you want to enjoy one of the restaurants along the intercoastal waterway. It's just valet only, and that can range anywhere from $5 up to $20. And then let's say you want to go to the actual beach side. There's little streets you have to maneuver, and it's so hard to just even find a parking spot on the actual street. So you typically have to go to a parking structure. If you go to the wrong parking structure, you could end up paying $20 unless you go to, for example, Margaritaville, which I've gone to on many occasions, and they just charge $3 per hour. But if you're not from here and you are just in town for a day or two and you're driving around trying to find parking, you can't, number one, it's going to be difficult to find parking. Number two, you're going to end up paying a hefty fee just to park the vehicle. So the parking, I would say, is just very difficult because it's very dense, especially along the boardwalk portion of Hollywood. Another bad thing about Hollywood, Florida is the walkability and bikeability of the entire city itself. Yes, they have their boardwalk, and yes, you can cycle there, you can walk there and jog there, and it's very picturesque being beachside, of course. But aside from that small portion, the city does not have the proper infrastructure such as bike lanes. They don't have like bike racks. They don't have places for bicyclists to even kind of like bike around town, and if they're going to go into the grocery store, to a restaurant, be able to lock their bike. They don't have that overall infrastructure to make it like a bike friendly city. So people are very limited to just kind of that boardwalk section, or possibly even just like the beach side. It's very difficult to get that more kind of like on the western part of the city, or even just in general throughout the city itself. Now, those are some of the pros and cons in Hollywood, and whether you talk to other people or look online, we can go on and on about hurricanes and that it's hot and it's humid and it's expensive. But it all depends on what you're looking for, because you're gonna find that everywhere in Florida. You can't get away from it. So whether it's Hollywood, Miami, maybe Palm Beach, or further up north in Jacksonville, you're going to get the same thing. But specifically to Hollywood, it is going to be more loud. There are more tourists. It is more dense. It's more lively. There's a lot of more action. So if you don't want that, then I would not recommend moving to Hollywood. Maybe somewhere further west where it's more quiet. So it's all a personal preference. Those are some of the pros and cons. Now, if you are thinking of moving to Hollywood, Florida, or Fort Lauderdale and the surrounding areas, then feel free to give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. All the information is down below. I look forward to seeing you around town.